Hi everyone, how you doing? Leighton, it's so good to be in conversation. First of all, Happy New Year. It's
Merry
been
Christmas,
a
everything. It's been a
yeah, it's
while.
been a long time since we did a live together, but hopefully things are going well with you.
I must be. Yeah, yeah, I've been busy, as you can see. If you follow my YouTube channel, you'll see after new videos. And actually, I just put up one since evening about the bobsled team. Really compelling story. I think if your people are listening, there's go to the video and look. Chris Stokes breaks it all down as to how the program came together for this year, and also the rise of Shane Peter and his story, as well as some very interesting tidbits, some nuggets about how USADA came to test the athletes after Jamaica were beating the US teams. So yeah, so there's a lot of stuff there that, and it speaks about Mika Moore and of course what their objectives are um for Cortina. The big thing about it is that they're 8 years ahead of schedule
Right.
because the plan was for them to look for medals in 2034, but this is 8 years prior, and they look like they're ready. And of course, there was a volleyball video yesterday, and you know, I have a video coming up with Joella Lloyd. For those who don't know Joella Lloyd, she's the fastest one out of Antigua. Just graduated from college, a master's degree in sports psychology, and she's going pro. That video will drop in a couple of days from now, and I have some really cool interviews lined up. I haven't confirmed all of them yet, so I'm going to speak to them. But one of them I can say involves a character champion from last year, and so we're going to talk to that athlete. I'm just waiting to hear back from her people when they when she. I must give it away. When the athlete is going to be available, and I have some other things in line in the pipeline. I have another thing coming up with Donovan Bailey as well. So yeah, so been busy a lot because I don't know if people know this, but I had some opportunities that were on the table prior to the hurricane. The hurricane literally blew those off the table. Interim, I'm actually pushing here to get some engagement on the channel, which has not been doing badly, and waiting, trying to find the next opportunity because
Sure. Yeah. No, you're doing some good stuff. Good night to everybody. I see a bunch of people coming in on your channel, on mine. We just to remind you guys, we're streaming on both platforms tonight from Leighton's channel, Mr. Analyst. So if you're over there, welcome, and we'll take your comments there as well, and also on my channel, and we'll try to pop up things on the screen. We're here to talk about a number of stuff. I need for sure. Make sure you go and support Leighton's channel. He's got a wide variety of stuff. I just started to listen to the latest video we haven't. It's a good 30 minutes, so I'm just probably halfway through it, but I'll definitely get the rest of it when we're done. But lots to talk about, Leighton. We'll probably start with track and field as usual because that's what a lot of people want to hear. And if we're up for it, we might move into some other sports. But let's go to the World Indoor Silver Tour today, I guess, in Sweden. In Stockholm, incidentally, the same guys who run the Diamond League in Stockholm, and start with some big Jamaicans hanging out there, and start with the men's 60 meters. Kishane Thompson was there, didn't quite perform the way I thought he would. I mean, we saw him last week in Jamaica where he had an early 60, got kind of run down by Lee McPherson, right? And today looked like he was in a comfortable position. In fact, I have a still of him leading the guys, and then Azu and also Glaive there from Great Britain in a PB 651 taking him down. Any thoughts on that? Are we reading into this too much already?
There are some reports coming out that, first of all, there was a report that they had withdrawn from the meet. My information, which I have not verified yet, this is what I'm hearing, is that they arrived late. So I think that might have something to do with it. I watched the race about 15 times already. What it looks like is like he got run down early, which is unusual because at 60 is when he's building towards his top speed. That Azu and Glaive ran him down. maybe they're working on a new race pattern. I don't know what it is, but we saw similar something last week. I mean, last weekend when Brian Level, who admittedly did not get a good start, ran him down as well at 60 at GC Foster. So I don't know if they're working on a new race plan, and that's part of it. It doesn't make sense to me right now because Kishane, like most MVP sprinters, are front-loading sprinter. They get out, you have to catch them. I don't know why. The only reason I could see them changing that race model is that they've looked at the last two major championships and look at him getting caught late in races, and are probably trying to have him build towards a momentum later in a race so he can hold on a little bit longer. But that for me would mean running more 200s and 150s as opposed to 60s. I don't know. Maybe it's just a phase where he's at in his training, where he's not at his sharpest yet. Maybe he's a little tired because, as I was told, I arrived late, so maybe a little bit of jet lag is involved as well. But having said that, that doesn't explain Janelle Smith, who is in the Gram today and ran a PB in the first round, which was a stadium record, and then lowered it in the final, running down both Clayton sisters. So the only way I can argue it is maybe this is a part of the program where they're not at their sharpest yet. But Janelle does look good. I mean, when you look at the fact that she ran 7:17 in the preliminary round, the Clayton sisters came in for the final, which probably again could explain their issue in the final because at least Janelle got to maybe shake off some rust in the preliminary round.
And same for Glaive too.
And ran them down. The thing about it is that you hardly ever see anybody run down the Clayton sisters. They run people down. And Janelle caught them on the line, 7:12 to 7:14 each. So it's a big year for her, I think, because last year was the first time in about 4 years that she's been relatively healthy because she's been back injuries, shoulder injuries for the last 4 years. And I know that she told me that last year was the first time she was able to squat or do squats, in 4 or 5 years. And so the reality is that given that she's been able to do the strength work because she also had shoulder injuries, so she couldn't do cleans and all of that, it's beginning to show. So, maybe this is a good year for her where there's no really major championship, where she can then take her time and build into the season and then run something like, her PB is 11:01 now, but we've always known that she was capable of being much faster than that. We saw evidence of that on the anchor leg in Tokyo last year when she ran down Sha'Carri. As much as Sha'Carri was in the best of shape, the fact is that she ran her down and almost caught her, suggests that she's moving to a level now where maybe 10:9 low this year and maybe in time for 10-8 or something by because she's 29. She turned 29 in January, I think.
Yeah.
So she's at her peak physically, and she hasn't raced much over the past few years, so her body's relatively fresh. So but it's kind of a small sample size across both male and females to say this is what the situation is, because this was Kishane's second race, this was Janelle's third race if you include the preliminary round. So maybe there's a little bit of rust, and people respond to long distance travel differently. Some people don't travel well. Some people need an extra day or so. When I was going to cast, Coach DJ used to tell me that for every 1,000 miles you travel, you need a day's rest. So I know they're left on the
before
weekend,
business class, though.
Yeah.
No, you touch on some good points there. You got me on the Janelle Smith thing, so I want to bring that up again because you anchored it really well, because everybody knew she had the talent. We saw when she went to college, and the injuries is what took away a lot from her. And I thought last year was a statement performance for her in terms of securing that silver medal for Jamaica in particular, and maybe breeding a level of confidence. You look at her, she looks good physically. The eye test is not always the best test, but she looks good. And a couple races out here, you're right, this could be a year for her. Perhaps Commonwealth Games, perhaps you'd have to work hard to get in the rankings to feature, I would imagine, or Ultimate Championships, but Commonwealth Games could be a place for her.
Yeah, that looks certainly look. The reality is that I just when she was at Auburn, she was really good at
Yeah.
Auburn. She was good at Wolmer's. And when she had that car accident, it was after she came back from the World Championships in 2019. I think it was early 2020 when she had a vehicle ran into the back of the car she was in the United States, and she got a back injury that took a while for her to get better to heal. So, no, I remember talking to her at trials last year. She said, yeah, for the first time in years, she's actually running relatively healthy, because I spoke to her the year before that. And she told me about the shoulder injury, the back injury, the hamstring injuries. She had a raft of injuries that she had to overcome. So, and maybe this year, and maybe MVP should consider, putting Commonwealth Games on our calendar, because it's not a championship year. It's a good opportunity for her to go there and race against Adina Asher-Smith and some other people, and test herself and feel the international elite competition that she's hardly been able to feel as an elite, as a professional athlete. So yeah, it's probably a good opportunity for her this year as well. So
no, you bring me into a point. I just want to say hi to everyone. Everyone, I think, calling on your channel and saying greetings. I see John, I see Paulette, I see a bunch of people, Alyssa on coming through. We'll try to get to some comments later on if as time works. But I always think about what we would call a non-conventional year for track and field, in the context that it's not an Olympic or a World Championship year. Yeah, yes, there is the ultimate championships that World Athletics has created to really have a season end this year. Again, that will only probably elite athletes are going to get there. You have to be Olympic medalists, World Championship medal winners, rankings, and so it's not.
I think oblique is only Jamaican that's qualified so far.
Right. Yeah, I haven't checked fully all of the. Yeah, you're right. Be right on that. So the question is, and it's all going to be over a weekend, so it's going to be fabulous in Budapest. So it's going to be a different kind of a meet, but it's not the kind of meet where I imagine when the coaches decide a program, that's the end meet for the year. It doesn't seem that way. So maybe talk broadly, because there's always these different people about in the sport or just coming into sport to understand what does I don't want to call it a down year, but it's an off year.
It is a down year.
Yeah, looks like for different types of athletes. So one, we've already got some evidence of what's happening. Beatrice Trebet, world record holder, multiple Olympic champion, world champion, maternity leave. Today, Sydney McLaughlin announced that she's going to be off. So most likely we won't see them until. We probably could see Trebet in 27. I don't know if we'll see Sydney in 27. It depends on how quickly they can recover from this. So they're taking some time off to focus for clearly the Olympics in LA. But there are outliers, right? They're like the elite of the elite. There, you hear Rai Benjamin earlier saying, maybe I'll tinker with 200 meters. Is he serious? I'm not sure until we see it this year. So the question is like, what do you do in a year like this if you're not the greatest athletes on the planet or so? What's on? How do you make your money beyond money? But what's the goal? Yeah.
Well, I think, look, I mean, we've had 5 consecutive years of global championships.
Right.
And I think a lot of the athletes are tired. You've seen it with the injuries. I mean, a raft of injuries across the board. So what I think could happen for some of the athletes, of course, for the non-sponsored athletes, those who don't have the big shoe sponsors, I think this is a year when they're probably going to circuit and try and make some money. I mean, you have the silver meets. I don't know if they're going to get invited to the Diamond League meets, but certainly there's an opportunity for them to kind of take the load off a little bit, because the intensity of the training might change, because they would get an opportunity to rest, active rest, where they're not as intense. They don't need to load up like the way they were loading up to tape up for a major championship. So maybe it's a year when, they might try something new. They might try, for some of the longer distances, they might try a shorter distance. So work on some speed work on some mechanical issues that they've struggled with for the past few years, because they haven't had the time to really hone in on those details because of the major championships. I think this year is going to probably primary for a lot of athletes. It's going to be a relatively easy year where money making is going to be the primary objective. Where find the meets, get the meets, bank some money, because 2027 is a big year again, and of course LA 2028. And for some of the elite athletes, we've seen the evidence of it already. I mean, Kambunji was pregnant from last year. I don't think she planned that one, but she's already started training. So, she's probably going to take the extra year and build back. No real hurry, because she has sponsors. She has a
lots of
sponsors. A Mercedes. I think she's a BMW sponsor. She has
she has a bunch of Swiss, she has a Watt sponsor. She has a bunch of stuff in Switzerland.
Hublot. I know she has Hublot. She has a car sponsor and things. So there's no hurry for her. I mean, she can take her time and work her way back through 2026 and perhaps half of 2027, because using Shelly as the example,
right?
It's going to take her about a year and a half to 2 years to get back to her best. Because that's how long. And I use Shelly as the example because Shelly was tiny.
Yeah.
She didn't have a large frame, and look, especially like for Sydney, she's pregnant early, so she most likely have a baby by the end of this year.
Yeah, I suspect she might be 3 months. I don't know how it works when they decide to tell us.
Somewhere about that, because I don't think they probably take the risk of announcing until they're certain that everything is okay. So maybe 2 to 3 months pregnant, first trimester. So she's probably going to have the baby later on this year, maybe it's October, I don't know, somewhere in that region, or maybe even earlier than that. That gives her some time to get back into her groove and then use 2027 as a year or two. Because she does need to win the World Championships again. She's done something that last year that nobody's ever done before, 47.78, and of course, world record at 400-meter hurdles. Her next step would probably be LA 2028. So 2027 would probably be a year when she takes the time to recover and get back to full fitness. Similarly, Chebet, because those longer distances her endurance is gonna be diminished significantly.
Yeah.
Unless she's gonna probably be swimming 100 miles a week, or just to keep her lungs in shape and stuff like that. So but I think it's gonna be a year where I think a lot of athletes are gonna relatively put their feet up, because they probably need the rest and the recovery from 5 intense years of competition. And then, of course, try to earn some money in the interim where they can bank up some money for 2027 and 2028.
No, you're right. I think we'll see a lot of athletes who were possibly injured last year or the year before, making sure that they do the best this year. I think the meet directors might have a hard time getting all the elite athletes on the Diamond League, but I'm for sure they'll show up. I guess it's not like they're short of people to make lanes, but it could be like one of those off years but you never know, right? I mean, track and field is just one of those sports that it surprise you. World record could still go. Yeah.
Can I respond to Dr. Sher?
Okay, yeah, let's get that up. Yeah.
I hear it's the rest here. I'm surprised everyone trains. They have to train hard. The thing is, it's not just you have to maintain your fitness. Remember, next year's a World Championship year, and if you're in a Commonwealth, you have the Commonwealth Games. So you have to train hard. The thing about it, if you don't train, you lose that fitness, and then you lose that fitness, it's going to take a long time to get back to that level of peak fitness. So you need to train hard to stay sharp. They might not race as much,
right?
But certainly they need to maintain that elite level of fitness so that going into 2027, the workload will not be that significant in terms of getting back to that level of fitness. They cannot focus then on transitioning into a season preparing for a major championship. So that's a big difference here. They're going to have to train hard. Always have to train hard.
Yeah, no, that's what's going to happen. It never changes. You're right. It's just how much competition you do. If you pick up niggles, you might be, you take some more time off. It's not as serious, But there's nothing you never know what you'll get. There's going to be experimentation, I imagine. We've already saw, Femke says she's going to run 800 from last year.
800,
people don't make those decisions when serious silverware that define your career is on the line. You don't play around with that kind of stuff,
Absolutely. And especially with Femke saying it's unlikely that she'll go back to the 400-meter hurdles because she's been there, done that. And as long as Sydney's around, she ain't going to win a gold medal at the Olympics. She's won everything else. Right. So she uses 2026 to really attune herself to the 800 because she says it's going to be a new event for her. She's going to find new challenges in understanding the event. And that will take time. So she used 2026 for that purpose. Somebody's asking about Serena Cole. She needs to use the year to lose some weight and get sharp because look, the last couple of years, she's put on. I don't know if it is muscle or fat, but it is that she's too heavy, and it's obvious that she's too heavy. I spoke to a couple of coaches at Edmund Allen, and they've always told me that Serena Cole is probably more talented than the Clayton twins. So, but she's never been as disciplined. So she probably needs to just focus this year on getting stronger, shedding some of that fat, if it is fat, and getting leaner. Because it's just like a car and a bike. A bike will always accelerate faster because it carries less load than a car. And then, of course, getting to that level where you're...
Should she long jump?
At an elite level.
Yeah,
I don't know. Who knows? She can't tiny still, so, and she has short legs, so I don't know if the long jump works best for her. Because it's not like Pacino, who is slender and tall and rangy,
Right, or Mahambo, or Tara Davis.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Pacino, I was really impressed with her outing last weekend. Was it like 690 something? Actually, that's like her best jump in a long time, and she had a really disappointed season last year. Didn't make the finals at World Championships. It's uncharacteristic.
So I finished fifth. Yeah, she was fifth.
In the qualifying round, she didn't make it in the final. Yeah.
There you go. I'm trying to remember. But she's had other than that, she's had a good, since 2024, 2023, she's had really good years outside the major championship. I think she jumped 706.
She's good quality.
706, 2024 or 2025.
Yeah, our best is like
last year or so. 706.
Yeah, 706, I think, or 703, something like that. Yeah. But I think this was the biggest jump she did since that PB, which was either in 24, I imagine. So it's like, so whatever happened last year, I'm not quite sure, but she has a lot to prove. Yeah.
Sometimes I think people just get the timing wrong,
right?
In terms of when they perform at their worst, and I think that's probably what happened to her, because wasn't she fourth in Tokyo too? In when was the Olympics was in Paris.
In Paris,
she just missed out. I think.
You're racking my brain. No, I'm getting old. Yeah, I think
we all are getting old.
Yeah, well, I mean, I shouldn't be saying that, but I can check I'll check it in a second. Since we're doing a couple quick questions here, Andre is asking what happened to Brabell. I mean, I don't think we'll see him for a while. It takes 9 to 12 months to recover from an Achilles injury.
From surgery.
Right?
Yeah. I made an interview request of him recently, and he hasn't responded, so I suspect that he doesn't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Because I wanted to find out how he's recovering, because when you do surgery on the Achilles, it takes a while. It's
a long time.
That was when? June last year.
Yeah.
So 6 months. We're in month number 7 now. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's
just getting back into.
Yeah. And realistically, they will tell him to wait 9 months, because the data. Because I had an Achilles rupture like 4 years ago or 3 years ago. It's 9 to 12 months. They will tell you to wait. Even if you look, and we're not even talking, even if you go elite. So you think about NBA guys, Tyrese Halliburton, done for the season. The same thing with Tatum from Boston. And we're talking about these guys who, once they do the surgery, they're in these hyperbaric chambers. They're doing all sort of great stuff. But to get them back to elite level, it takes a good year or more. So I don't think we'll see him. It's impossible to see him this year. If he were to come this year, they would be pushing stuff that he would risk re-injuring it,
and especially when he win at the Commonwealth Games, last Commonwealth Games, so I don't think he's going to be able to defend his title this year.
I
think it's a few months too soon.
Yeah, she did come fourth. Yeah, it was like 678 in Paris. Yeah, your memory is good. I think it will take some time. I don't know if he may have to change a hurdling leg. You remember which leg it was? I don't remember.
I don't know. I think it's his right foot. I remember seeing him in a boot, but I'm trying to remember if it was his right foot. I'm trying to remember.
Right. It was a bad injury. Hopefully he gets it.
Yeah. When I spoke to not Broadbent, what am I talking about? Orlando Bennett. I think he crashed into the hurdle, and he led with his right leg, so I guess it's probably his right leg that got damaged. So it's probably his lead leg. So
And
It'll be
I
a
guess
while.
hopefully you get to talk to him. I don't know if you will, but you know, because
I don't
a
know.
lot of things factoring. If it was it a full rupture, was it a partial rupture? All of that stuff factor into how quickly you can return to her. So yeah, because if it
Yeah,
comes
so
off the bone, they have to put like they have to graft
yeah,
it with something else and all
graft
of
it
that
and put
stuff.
it back. Yeah, like
Yeah,
what Blake did with his in 2014 with his
yeah,
hamstring. Yeah. So yeah, but
yeah.
I've been reaching out to him, and I'm not gonna stop reaching out to him. Have to tell me no, where run me, because I just want to find out, because just like that question, there are people have been asked. People ask me questions all the time, and the journalists in me always try to answer those questions. Gets me
Right.
into trouble sometimes, but you know,
I know we're in a different kind of times where, you know, especially even if you think about football, they don't necessarily tell you everything about the athlete medical privacy, but we're not digging into the reasons. We just people just want to know their, you know,
yeah.
their concern. It's not a bad
Yeah,
thing,
we
I
just
guess.
want to know, where you are to your recovery. Yeah, because we know he did the surgery. We know he's recovering. Just want to know where he's at in the recovery, and whether or not he has plans or objectives to compete this year, which is unlikely. Yes, but I mean, you have stem cell treatment, all kinds of something you never can
Right.
tell. So I
Yeah.
mean, look at this little kid from Liverpool, Leone, that got hurt earlier this season. He's already back training.
Right.
So you never can tell.
Yeah. So wish him the best. I mean, you know, sometimes it happens, but the depth of Jamaican hurdling, as we saw evidence last year, it suggests that things are in good hands. And you know, sometimes those things happen, and I'm sure he'll be
Yeah,
back.
and Brittany's back training. Brittany's back
Yeah, I
training
saw
well
Brittany.
as well after
Yeah,
pregnancy.
yeah,
And Akira is home training. I hear that things are going pretty well. Despite the fact that there are some things that they want to work on to improve upon that they think was holding her back the
Hmm.
last couple of years. But so maybe this is a year when she does something extraordinary. I mean, I don't know if Mills plans to send her to Commonwealth Games, or not even Mills, but whoever is her agent, because I don't think
Right.
last time I checked she didn't have an agent. So I don't know whether or not the plan is for her to go to Commonwealth Games or any major meets this year to test what she's been working on so far. So
Yeah, I mean, try
Alana
with the
Reid is
diamond. The
with
Diamond League will
Marcus
matter this
Bennett
year, right?
here.
Because if you win the Diamond League this year, you
Yeah,
go
it will matter
to
a
the World
lot.
Championships next year. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
So at least
Omar is not retired as far as I know. I just answering some questions.
oh
See.
yeah,
I can't. The questions gonna keep popping.
yeah.
Yeah. Omar's going through a hard time. His mom died just before trials last year, and it really messed him up. He's been going through a lot from an emotional and mental standpoint the last few years. I don't know if he has retired. I haven't seen anything from him to suggest that he has. He's not even on social media anymore.
Mm.
So normally he would post occasionally, but we don't see him on social media anymore. I know he changed camps in Italy. He was still with Ariel in
Yeah.
Italy, but I don't know. I haven't seen him back there since, because that coach posts a lot of stuff from his club when they're going on. I haven't seen anything where Omar is in it or anything. So I guess you have to wait until he makes up his mind. Omar's 30 this year, I think.
Yeah.
So
last year it looked like he was gonna stage something decent, and it just never really happened. I think some 13 threes, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. Was it?
Yeah, Omar has been what he told me at trials, not last year, the year before, that he said he won everything too quickly. And of course, remember, Omar was in the first
16
2 years
and then 17, right? Yeah.
And then World Indoors, Olympic title, World Championship title. And I think he didn't know how to handle it, the pressure of that, of being, the man in the sprint hurdles.
Right.
And then the distractions came in Florida. Then he moved over to Italy, and then Italy looked like it was working out, and then it didn't. So I kind of feel for him, because I know he alienated himself. Look, Omar, we all know the issues with Jamaicans and Omar McLeod. The perception of his sexuality, which a lot of Jamaicans have a problem with. me, I just I don't care. What am I doing in privacy? I'm in my own house. I'm living with somebody who's, I mean, consenting thing. That's his problem. I don't business with him. But a lot of Jamaicans have a problem with that, his sexuality. I don't care what he is. I think though for him, the perception or the negative edge he gets from a lot of Jamaicans has had some impact on him as well. So I think it's a lot that he's dealing with.
Right.
And
then that incident at the trials at the time was a whole
and then him threw
Jamaica.
Threw Jamaica under the bus, which further turned people against him. Then he left his agent, and found a new set of agents in Italy somewhere. I don't know. He's been, and he was bouncing all over the place. He had like 5 or 6 coaches in 4 years. It was just a situation that just went off the rails for him. And I don't know if he can come back to being anything close to the 1292 that he's run, but I doubt that. No, I don't think.
Yeah, that would be a stretch. I think that was when he was on course for us, thinking he could break the world record. Subsequently, at his age, it would be a very difficult period to get back to that level. I mean, if he wants to finish the sport, obviously people should support that, and I hope he gets to go on his own terms. But I think those days are probably gone. Speaking of going back to coaches, I just saw earlier today or yesterday, the Olympic champion from Tokyo of 100 meters, Marcel Jacobs, is back in Italy. I think going back to his old coach, What do you think about that?
Yeah, 6.5 dozen. I think Marcel had his fun in the sun. He won World Indoors, won the Olympics. Had some injury issues, changed coaches. He ran 980 when he won the Olympic title, right?
Yeah, 980 or 981. One of those times. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he's getting back there any at all. I mean, you saw him race last year in Tokyo. He doesn't even, if you did not know who he was, you would not have known that he was an Olympic champion.
Right.
He doesn't look the part anymore. He doesn't have the confidence. He's running and looking around because he's near the back of the pack. He doesn't run with that belief anymore. So I think beyond the physical, because I don't know what his physical situation is related to injuries, but beyond the physical, I think his head is not where it's supposed to be in terms of the confidence that you need to have with regards to being an Olympic champion or World Indoor champion.
Yeah. I wrote him off, and I mean, I know there was injuries, obviously, but when he in Paris, I thought he did a good job trying to defend that title. He didn't in the end, right? He was 5th. What was he 5th? 985, I think he ran.
Yeah.
And when he got back to that time, it suggested that perhaps, but then he fizzled out really quickly in Tokyo last year. So I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, he's been inconsistent. I mean, he comes and he does something that's okay. He's on his way back, and then he does something like what happened last year. And of course, for me personally, right now, Oblique 7 is the man to beat for the next few years, unless something drastic happens.
Right.
I've been talking to him a lot the last few weeks, and I'm telling you, the belief that he has now. I mean, he even put up a thing on his Instagram that is like basically saying, "But I've never beat me before. That's happening again." So and then of course with Kishane and Noah Lyles and Kenny Bednarek, and what's his guy called? Out of Arkansas. Even though he has made a full transition, he's gone pro. But there are so many sprinters now who are faster than Jacobs. Does he come back and challenge these guys? I just don't see it. Not saying it can't happen. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you go back to your old coach, maybe things are okay. You're back home in Italy, but I don't know. I think it's a long time since that last Olympics to now, and injuries is something that people sometimes don't. This, but a lot of people in the sport, they have nostalgia. We do it the same with the likes of Elaine and others, where it's just hard sometimes for your body to come back to any level of where it used to be if you suffer from certain type of injuries. And he's always having these
Yeah,
hamstring stuff or back or knee.
always.
Yeah. And he was a
Yeah,
jumper too, so it's not so
mm.
there's baggage on those knees, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about this is that I keep telling people all the time that recovering from an injury is more than just the physical. Huh?
Mm.
Because when you get an injury, your mind has a way of telling you, well, I must not feel so right. So it subconsciously holds you back from what you think you can
Right.
achieve because subconsciously you're thinking, will that injury occur? Will it be a factor if I try to push? There's so many factors. I just going to create a response to Jones pick 800. I have news on Brianna, but I cannot publish. I can't say what it is. She asked me to
Okay.
be private with the information that she shared with me. Until she says otherwise, I can't say anything else. Until she decides to make it public. I had a lengthy conversation with her a couple of months ago.
Right.
But she's in a good place. Put it that way.
Yeah. No, it looks that way too. Yeah, we wish Brianna well too. She's super talented as usual. We could probably respond to this one. Brianna Liston is actually done for Saturday at New Balance, and New Balance is going to be fantastic. She's in the 60 meters. I'm excited for that. I don't know if you've heard anything yet, Leighton, but
No,
Dean Asher Smith is in
I've
the
been
race.
here.
Barnes, Luck
Yeah,
and Kemper. Yeah.
look, she's a 703 60-meter runner. I don't know what somebody asked me that question just a couple of days ago.
Mm.
I honestly don't know what to expect from her. And here's the reason why. We know she left LSU. She went to Florida to get specialist treatment on her hamstring.
Right.
I don't know when that treatment or that period of rehabilitation ended. I know everybody knows that she's at Lance Brahman now at Pure Athletics. Based on what I'm hearing, she's training well. But background work really doesn't give you an indicator of what you're going to be able to do until you step on the track. So Saturday will be information that I don't have to see what she does. If she comes out around like a 7:12 or a 7:15, it'll probably tell you that, yes, she's healthy.
Right.
But it won't tell you necessarily where because look, this is the first year she's going to be with Lance Brahman. She's still getting into the program. The program is still fresh in her legs, in her body. So this is and go back to the initial conversation we're talking about what athlete to this year. Maybe this year when Lance has her testing the program, testing what she's capable of, how strong she can get, how fast she can get, what mechanical work she needs to improve upon. How can he get her better? Because for the 3 years what she was at LSU, she was injured for the 3 years she was at LSU. And they did work on her at LSU to try to get her body ready for intense training and intense competition. And it never held up.
Right.
So, this we'll have to
And she
wait
cut
and
the
see.
season short a number of
she's-
times too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. She never ran up to SEC last year.
Yeah.
So and that's one of the reasons when I called coach what's his name again?
Yeah, his name.
Coach at
I'm
LSU.
looking at him.
Yeah. Yeah, and he told me that she left. She left and told her she was going pro. That's when she went to Florida. So so she hasn't run since then. So that's almost a year now that she hasn't competed.
Yeah.
Dennis Shaver, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So having not competed for a year, almost going to a new program. Really don't know what to expect. I guess Saturday will tell us a lot more than we know now.
Yeah, I think we'll get a sense, but I don't think we get a true sense because I think Brahman looks at her and he sees something special. We all know that. I still think today she's the most talented of the bunch. That that if they get it right, she could really destroy a lot of people. But the body has to be right, and hopefully she can use this year. And if it goes well, maybe she pops up at the Commonwealth Games, get get something there, and then try to get on that Jamaica team next year.
Yeah, because what we're seeing now, I mean, Shelly's retired. She's passed literally and figuratively passed the baton on to the Clayton twins. Yeah, the Clayton twins, who I think, me personally, I think both of those girls are going to run 9-7s, 10-7s this year, not 9-7s. One of them is already there, 10-76,
Right.
and the other one is 10-81. So, as we've seen over the past few years, so one go forward, the other one joins them. So, I think by the end of the season, they'll be in 10-7 shape, if not faster, going into the World Championships, because 10-61 is the standard now.
Right.
With Melissa Jefferson Wooden and, of course, Julian Alfred. I'm sure the word is that she's coming back to break the world record and try to go for the world record in indoor 60. She's coming back with the intention of reclaiming that crown as the world's fastest woman. So those two, and then the Clayton twins, and then there are other athletes out there, I'm sure, who are about to break through. So we'll see how that plays out. So for Brenna Liston, maybe 2026 is a year too soon for her. So we'll probably see her at where she's likely to be in 2027, 2028. Because I think I was told that the plan for her was LA 2028. So let's see what happens.
Hold on. I have to stop you on this one. So, because you always drop these gems. So you're saying that Juju's out to break the 692. She wants to break that.
That's the plan I'm hearing. That remember, she's bouncing back from a major disappointment last year, where she expected to be contending for gold. Runs 100, she doesn't come even second. She finishes third because of a hamstring injury. Missed the 200, so she missed a medal opportunity there as well. She was devastated based on what I was hearing after the World Championships. So she's come back this year with a renewed focus to maybe set herself some new goals. Maybe not a major year, so let's go for the world record. She's the second fastest one all the time.
Yeah, 694. So it's not out of question. It's just that I was like, after the down year, after the disappointment, to come for that, it would be interesting.
Yeah, she's second fastest all time, both 60 and 200. 22:01.
Yeah.
Only Merlin is faster, and only Privalova is faster than her, 692 to 694. So maybe that's something that they're working on for the 100, where if they can sharpen up that first 60, maybe Melissa Jefferson doesn't get away from her.
Right.
Because on the basis of what we saw last year, Melissa Jefferson seems ready to run 10.5. We saw that.
Right.
I mean, you saw where the wind was a little bit more cooperative in Tokyo. She ran about 10.57 or 10.55. I did the math on it.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Like, the bar is high. If she had great conditions, I think she had a season like, I would say, Jackson without running those great times, but just couldn't get the kind of wind conditions to really push her into the different stratosphere. But yeah.
She was stepping last year. I mean, there was a point where it almost looked as if Elane's 10.54 was under threat. That's how real she looked last year. And given the confidence that she had based on winning World Championship, the triple, the second woman behind Shelley to do that at a single World Championship, she clearly is the top dog in that camp now, in the Star Tennis camp. Regardless of what Sha'Carri, she's now faster than Sha'Carri at 10.61.
Right.
She's the 21.6.
Yeah.
Asheran. That means she's also fastest in the 200 in that camp as well. So she's the top dog in that camp. Sha'Carri now has to take yield to her, because 10.65 and 21.97 or whatever it is not the top times in that club anymore. So she comes into 2026 certainly, ready to run again. She probably didn't want 2025 to end, given how well that year ran for her. Unbeaten, dominating in ways that we only saw Shelley do in terms of the 200, in terms of the 100 back in 2022. I mean, so it's gonna be an intense year for Julian, and I think it probably starts with her attempting for that world record. That will probably then get her back on track to trying to challenge 10.61.
Yeah.
Because that's the time that she's gonna have to beat now.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right on that. I think MJW would have preferred if this was an Olympic year or something like that.
For real.
Just move smoothly into it. But Yeah, unbelievable person. I like her a lot. I think she's good for the sport. She's not getting the kind of attention that she should be getting here in the States, but I suspect by the time it rolls around for 28, she is the face of women's sprinting in the US, I imagine, in terms of
Yeah,
the highest hopes for getting I don't know if I mean, I guess the hopes are doubling. There's others might have questions about that, but she probably starts strong favorites there, no question about it. Yeah,
yeah. The thing with her is that she's quiet, she's shy, she is not controversial like a Shakari. She doesn't
right.
command the media attention like some of the other people I know here. So that's the
Yeah.
unfortunate thing. I think one of the things I find unfortunate about the current state of the world, not just in track and field, is that if you're not ratchet or controversial or doing something crazy, you don't get the kind of support that, back in the day, Don Corey was a big star just because he ran fast.
Right.
Steve Williams just run fast, and Steve Williams got a chance to run fast. Carl Lewis, as much as I'm not a Carl Lewis fan anymore, he garnered attention by just running fast. Of course, Ben came in, and then that battle between him and Ben created the kind of rivalry that people wanted to see. But I find it unfortunate that somebody like Melissa Jefferson, based on her accomplishments, wouldn't get her flowers, her space on the Wheatie box as it used to be.
Right.
And she was on a couple of networks after the World Championships, but after that she just disappeared from sight. Nobody's engaging her in any special way. She's not getting any additional. But it's not clear whether or not she's getting additional sponsors.
Yeah, I don't know either. I haven't checked to see if that's the case, because you think about it. I mean, even before the rise of, say, a Shakari or whatever at that World Championship in Budapest, the questions about like why Gabby Thomas wasn't even, garnering the airways more, or even Sydney, because Sydney has a space, but sometimes it's kind of you don't really see the space when they conveniently pull her out when they want, but
Yeah, the thing with Sydney is that Sydney hides from the public a lot. I mean,
that too.
She's not on social media. She's hardly. I mean, I was surprised when I saw the post from her today announcing that she was pregnant. That for me was stunning, because she normally. I've actually requested interviews from her, and her handler tells us, "Oh, she's not doing any interviews right now."
Right.
And she's hardly ever in the media except for in the immediate aftermath of a media championship. Right. And after that, she just blends into the landscape and disappears like a chameleon. Right. So her not getting that kind of visibility is understandable, because she's not very media friendly. And
I think the modern sports star has to have personality in some capacities. Oftentimes, the personality could be a little bit contrary, and probably in areas that we might not necessarily like. But if they can do that, then they often get into the media land space, or they take on causes too that are important to communities, whether it's risking their careers on a political stint or some social activity. But without personality, it's very difficult today to just get into space. And I would always encourage track and field athletes that you can't force a personality if it's not there, but you have to build a presence beyond the NFL guy or a basketball player or association soccer or football player, because you're just not gonna unless it's that week in the Olympics. No one is gonna spend time on you, and you have to promote yourself if you want to make that money.
Because look, and that's one of the things that you had to really appreciate what UCN did. It's not just about you, the athletes, about the sport. And track and field has fallen so far down the pecking order now in terms of sports and visibility of sports in the US specifically.
Oh, tell me about it.
So you as an ambassador for the sport, put yourself out there. I say adopt a cause. Americans like dogs. Take up a cause. I'm not serious. I swear to God, Americans like dogs more than like people.
Yeah.
And do something that make people see you. It don't have to be something controversial or ratchety, as I like to say, because some of these people just go there and do weird things just because they want clicks. But do something that because when you get the popularity, I get the visibility, the sport gets the visibility as well. And I
Right.
find that a lot of athletes, especially in the US, are too nice. Look, people don't like Noah Lyles. Well, he divides people, put it that way. Because there's people who hate him and people who like him, and then there are people like me who I think he's good for the sport.
Yeah.
But at least he's trying to be visible.
Yeah.
And he puts himself out there. Sometimes he says things that piss people off, but at least you're talking about him, And the fact that you're talking about him means that you're talking about track and field.
He's earning.
Whether you like it or not, he's actually the face of track and field right now in the US. So, but US has so many stars.
This is a kind of your realm too, in terms of a medium, or more probably adjacent, in the sense of, I think there's never a time like that athletes can live in that they can actually do a lot of self-promotion, right? They can do things that they couldn't do 15 years ago or 20 years ago, for sure. Certainly not the athletes in the 90s or the 70s and 80s. They can just open their phones, they can hire somebody, they can do things, and people can know their story, and yet we can barely hear from them. You reach out to a representative, and it's like pulling teeth, just the amount of layers you would think you're trying to get to someone in the special forces or something like that. And then they complain that they don't
the White House.
And then they complain that they're not getting the salary that's commiserate to the talent. And I agree, like the money, the talent we have in track and field, the performances objectively, week in, week out, sometimes it deserves a level of pay, but you can't command a level of pay if eyes aren't watching and running into a stadium.
Nobody knows who you are.
And television, TV rights. So if you can't pay people if we can't afford to pay you, right? And that's the biggest thing, So I don't know. We got off on there. Speaking of that, I think you did some good stuff last year too.
See you.
Obviously,
people pay to see you. That's why. That's why footballers. No, I was just saying that people pay. That's why footballers and basketball players and NFL players make as much money. People see them all the time. Right. But it's not on Sunday. They're always in the news for some reason or the other. They're on ESPN doing interviews. They're on Fox Sports Network doing interviews. They're doing interviews. They're making themselves visible. They're making themselves worthy of the money that people are paying to see them. And track and field athletes, unfortunately, don't get that for some reason.
And I hope, I don't know when it's going to change. And one of the things that a lot of people don't recognize is how hard leagues like the NFL, the EPL, NBA work to sell their product in every nook and cranny, because they know that if they can get more visibility, then they can come on bigger TV revenues, bigger money from the TV in terms of, because they will be selling more ads. But we'll see. Sebco. So speaking of that, and this is my problem with World Athletics, and I think they never sold track and field the way they should, or work hard enough. But that's another story. He was in Jamaica.
Let me answer this from Dr. Sher again. Okay. What it was is that, so Brian Level had gone to the World Relays year before, 2024, I think it was. And he was on the squad, and he was literally told that he's not going to run. After he had prepared and was prepared to compete, and he was literally unceremoniously just bumped off the squad. Similarly with what's her name? That's over by GC Foster now. I used to run for Heidel. They had similar experiences where they felt like they were mistreated. Their respective agents felt like they were being disrespected. And as such, they said that they're not going to run, especially under the current coaching setup. They were not going to compete because some of those coaches were the people who disrespected them. And I have two thoughts about that. You're not running for the coaches, you're running for Jamaica. But if you feel like you're not respected, then you carry the blame them for not running, because respect is a reciprocal thing. It goes both ways. And so, that's the ground level situation.
You think
cool? Yeah.
You think it? Well, just to end that, any indication that it will continue into? Well, perhaps next year, because this year is is Commonwealth. So I'm not sure if he will be going to that or whatever. But
That's
any
one of the
indication?
things. That's one of the things that I'm going to talk to him about. If I get to talk to him, he's on a list of athletes who I want to talk to in the next couple of months. And that's one of the things I want to talk to him about if I get a chance to talk to him. So yeah,
All right.
But if that happens, then we can talk about it.
We'll stay tuned for that. Okay, so Sebco came to Jamaica, is doing the rounds, offered some support from World Athletics for hurricane damage. Personally, well, I think obviously the country might be grateful, but I'm not quite sure if it's quite enough. But I don't know where the budget is to put that money into grassroots, so I don't want to be ultra critical. But I think he was pressed on the issue of the three races in one day for women, and I found the answer wanting. I suspect you might have a similar take on it.
Absolutely. But I don't know if you saw, if you haven't watched it, and this is to the people watching, there's a video they have about that very same conversation where he says that he spoke to about 20 athletes and their coaches, and 17 of them said, yeah, they don't have a problem running 3 races in one day. But here's the thing that didn't make sense to me. He says the woman didn't have a problem running 3 races in one day, and then he explained that there's going to be an extra time between the semi-final and the final, which is fine. So I spoke to coaches and I said it is possible to run 3 races in one day, but it's about the performance at the end of the line and the risk of injury. However, he said the men were reticent. Now, why would the men be reticent and the women be so gung-ho about running 3 races in one day and the men are not keen on doing the same thing? It doesn't feel like it makes sense to me. No, it doesn't, because the guys are stronger. They have a better opportunity to recover faster from high levels of exertion, and their coaches are reticent. So why is it that does it make sense that the woman would be more inclined or more willing to become guinea pigs on the first day of the Olympics back in LA 2028? It doesn't make sense to me. It sounds like a PR spin that's trying to support World Athletics in general, and of course the IOC obviously have agreed to this under some kind of arm twisting from either IOC, World Athletics, and sponsors and
the local organizers probably too.
And the broadcasters to have this thing to open the track and field, which by the way, in the first week of the Olympics, and the facility will be converted into swimming after track and field is completed. So it doesn't make sense to me at all. I could understand if he said the men were willing, but they want to see how it worked for the women first. But he said the men were reticent. The video, I actually inserted the video in that video that I did a couple of weeks ago. It's on my channel right now. You can go look and see it. And so it does make sense to me. It does make sense to me. Or the
question is, would they do that for the World Championships in China in 27?
What he said was that depending on the reception, and I guess there are other factors as well, that it could become the constant going forward, but it's still too early to say. Suggesting that maybe something on the table for discussion the next World Athletics Congress, to say they'll have 3 races in one day. I don't think. Look, from a spectator's point of view, I think a big part of the excitement of the 100 is having the preliminary round on day one, weed out the people who get weed out, and you run the semifinals and finals on the same day, because you build that tension gradually up into the final. Because first of all, you know who gets there. They get to come back the next day fresh, blast on the semifinals, and come up for the finals. That's what builds the excitement. Having the 3 races on one day just makes you feel like it's anticlimactic. Because look, for example, and this is an example I use because it's happened to people I know, and it's happened to where you're going to the championships with a niggle, and you can probably coast through the preliminary round and get a round of therapy and some needlework and some massage and come back fresh the next day with a better opportunity to compete effectively. When they run 3 rounds in one day, you take away that opportunity from the athlete. Yeah, because say I'm going to start the day earlier. Say you start at 8 o'clock and you run the first round, and then say you had a little bit of hamstring strain, and you have the semi-final that's at 12 o'clock, and then you have the final at 3:30. I don't know. We're just making up numbers here now.
Right.
Wherein you had that strain overnight, you probably could have get some proper treatment overnight. You come back and would be, as opposed to being 80%, you could be 85%. And that makes a big difference between winning a medal or not. So I think it's unfair to the athletes to ask them to run 3 races in one day. I don't think it's right.
It is. I think it's unfair to the sport too, in terms of the kind of performance that what we would get, in the sense that you put somebody in a position where, say, take Melissa Jefferson Wooden. Say we have all things great. Julia and Alfred in the best shape of their life, the Clayton twins, you name it. They're all gunning to run, sub 10.6 potentially, or who knows what we could get. And you have them running so much that there's no way at the end the performance that they'll deliver would be as good as the one they would have done over the 2-day period. I just can't see it. It's not impossible. I know it's possible. Coaches will adapt. But if you start the morning at 8 o'clock, Leighton, that means they have to wake up 2-3 hours prior to that.
Because of a warm up. You have to get to the track, you have a warm up, which takes an hour to warm up.
It's like kind of
and it takes an hour to warm down.
Yeah. Call room, checking this.
Yeah. It's all kind of different things. Travel, especially if the warm up facility is not close to the competition track. All kind of different things. I think it's just you're asking the athletes too much. Especially the 100 is a high intensity event,
Right.
So it's not like you're going to go out there, you're going to run, and then you have 2 days off and you're running 100 one day, you wake up early next morning to get ready. You have to eat and make sure you hydrate properly and get your nutrients in. And then about 2 hours before competition, before semifinals, you go track and you warm up. Take it off, warm up and get into the car room and then compete and then come back for the final again. It's too much, man.
Yeah,
that's not right.
I think they're going to regret it, but we'll see. I mean, at this point, it doesn't seem like they're changing the schedule. It's set, and it's not a good idea, But
yeah, let me ask Sherwood 997. Sherwood 991 asking if he says he has proof. The journalist asked to see the list. He didn't have the list with him, but the thing about it is that all of us were restricted to 2 questions each, basically. So you asked a couple of questions, you didn't get a chance to really follow up. So unless somebody has picked up the question after you asked it, then chances are, and then because every athlete has their own set of questions, chances are you're not going to get back to it. And then because he had to leave for the airport, there was not enough time at the end of the press conference to have those discussions with him. So it was a short thing. The press conference itself lasted about 40 minutes. And he took a couple of questions, and then he had to leave.
And I'm not sure he would tell you who's on the list anyway. He would talk.
Yeah, I don't think he would.
Yeah, Jules said they're not preserving female athletes. I think we agree on that. Good to see a dynamics. Yeah. We did speak about Sydney's pregnancy.
Yeah.
I think she'll be back in time to finish out in 28. Yeah.
Yeah, 28. That's where I think she's going to be. I think that the primary focus for her is the Olympics in LA, where she wants to probably, because she did say she's probably going to retire early. So maybe LA 28 is the last hurrah for her, and she's going to take her time and come back and prepare for that. The World Championships, she's won what now? She's won 3 World Championships now. She won in 2022.
Yeah.
2022, 2023.
She skipped a couple of them too. She won in 22 was in Oregon, right? Yeah.
Oregon, yeah.
Yeah.
She won in 2023 in Budapest. There, and she won she ran the 400 last year. Yeah. So she's just gonna be. They're not gonna release the list. A lot of those conversations that have, as it relates to policy and rule changes, they're not going to release any list about who they spoke with. Those things are held in confidence.
Yeah, and if council approve this,
Oh
council
yeah,
approves it. They
Tana
don't
said she
know
missed
how.
2023. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, she didn't
she
run
did
in
miss
23. Yeah,
2023.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I think we'll see. I want to touch on one other thing too, since I know a lot of people are Jamaica fans or track and field fans. So the hurricane, obviously, you covered it. You covered. There was a great interview there with was it the ISA president? I think you had on. Was it
Yeah, he's a
or
president. Yeah,
yeah? That was a
Keith
kind of
Wellington. Yeah, man, he's a
yeah. That was eye opening. But more and more, you see some of these meets being cancelled this year, right? In terms of not having that track and field. So it's one, not to have the meets. Two, clearly infrastructure damage. How, I don't know. We can't predict the future, but it is a setback. I don't know if you have kind of like on a scale of where that's going to set us back, or if you've thought about it that way. But it is a major setback, and there's no races this year either, right? Is that correct, or am I right on
no. There's no races this year. Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah,
No races this year. No Western relays this year.
right,
Yeah. Part of it is infrastructure, and because of the damage and because of the impact that the hurricane had on Jamaica's economy, 41% of the GDP, a lot of potential sponsors are not going to be coming on board this year. They're holding cash for obvious
right,
reasons. They're anticipating a recession for at least a year. So they're going to hold cash, and so they're not going to spend on what they don't need to spend on this year. So it's probably a good year for Jamaica not to have, for there not to be a media championship, because
hmm,
a lot of the kids out in Western Jamaica are significantly impacted. Already schools, athletes are not turning up for training at school because some of them don't have homes. You know, if you have a roof over their head, they're not thinking about going run for
right,
nobody. The schools themselves are significantly damaged. So money that would normally be spent on programs probably diverted towards rebuilding and recovery and providing sustenance for those kids who can't afford it because their homes were damaged or destroyed. And so it's a significant impact on the program. I think it probably set Jamaica back, especially sometimes some of those kids who are just coming through like class three up, set back a couple of years because they won't
right,
have the meets, they won't have the training, they won't have the facilities, and because the the situation with the Western system in Montego Bay is still to be resolved. Um, the lack of meets, the lack of training facilities, a lot of schools are going to be impacted. I wouldn't be surprised to see half of the schools turn out for champs this year,
hmm,
because especially some of those schools in Western Jamaica. I take for example my girl here, her name Shania Douglas, who went to
hmm,
Holland. Um, she got beat by this girl Alexi from Trinidad who runs to Edwin Allen.
right,
That might be an indication that she's not been able to train the way she wants to. Because Holland was one of those schools significantly damaged, along with, I mean, Manning's was virtually destroyed. St.
right,
Elizabeth Technical, as Wellington said in that interview that you referred to earlier, Dwayne, the damage is $500 million. And Rossies, there are a lot of schools in Western Jamaica that I don't even think they probably have a proper program for at least another 2 to 3 years, because they have to spend that money now on repairing their schools. Yeah, government going to do some work, but government can't fix all of the schools. So,
right,
in the way in which they should be repaired. So obviously, the school itself is going to have to probably divert some funds that would normally be reserved for football programs or sporting programs in general into building back infrastructure and getting back people on board and getting the kids the nutrition the kids need to be able to compete effectively. So the short answer to the question is yes. I think the hurricane is going to make a significant impact on Jamaica, and I think you'll probably see a manifestation of that at Carifta this year as well in Grenada, because if based on some of the information that I've been getting, some schools, like if they had 50 athletes, for example, for track and field, less than 20 are turning up for training
hmm,
because the others are just not able to get back to training, and because they must sleep in that tent, or they must sleep in a shelter or somewhere because their houses are destroyed or they have no roof, and all kind of different reasons because of the hurricane. So yeah, I think the impact is going to be significant. And I think you will see it once the real competition start. Like I think you'll see it at Champs, you'll see it at Carifta. And I think, for example, World Under 20 Championships
Right.
and some of the other events, you'll start to see the impact of it this year and next year, maybe into 2028, because the damage is going to take, my guess from my layman's concept of what happened in Western Jamaica, and having lived through Gilbert, even though Gilbert was 37 years ago, 38 years ago this year, is that the kind of recovery that is required is going to take a long time. It's not going to happen in a year. It's not going to happen in 2 years. It's going to probably have more likely for 5 years before things get back to some level of normalcy.
Right.
And as a result, I think a lot of sporting programs are going to suffer as a result.
No, yeah, I know it's tough, and you know the knock-on effects obviously for the athletes, especially if some of them want that for like higher education and all that kind of thing. It becomes increasingly difficult. So hopefully, you know, things can turn around and we can. I mean, obviously they have to think about their well-being and their family's well-being before they think about playing sport, but perhaps sports can be a way in which they can, you know, deal with some of these issues as well. Yeah. Well, as usual, we always go really long without even getting into into some of the things that we have on the list. We probably have to pick this up another time for sure.
No, we can't talk a little bit about. You mentioned some cricket. We can't probably talk about cricket if people are interested.
Yeah, we can talk. Yeah, I mean, this is when everybody drops off. Well, I mean, look, I was surprised today that Weston has actually won the T20.
But it doesn't matter, which is when they usually win.
Which is
but
when
it
they
doesn't
win
matter.
it, right? And they weren't going to win it if that guy didn't do if Springer didn't come on with that hat trick. You know, we would have been struggling there. You know,
Yeah, look, the Western is one of the things. Look, let me go back a couple of weeks. Dwayne Bravo did an interview a few weeks ago. Where he said that pretty much putting the foot at the blame of the blame for the issues with West Indies cricket at the board, on the board level. And I'm not going to disagree with him on that point. But here's how I see it. And I'm going to do a monologue on this in the coming days for my channel. But I'll just give a sense of what I'm talking about here. And of course, the board calling back for begging Puran to come.
Puran? What?
Yeah. Here's how I see it. I'm going to put it in these terms. So you have a man and you have a girl, right? And he's a 9-to-5 guy. He work hard, but he's not so good at what he do. And he doesn't have a lot of disposable income. Some can give her like a $5,000 a week, or I don't know, whatever it is, that you can go a little shopping and whatever it is. $5,000 can't buy nothing. And here comes a millionaire, big Mercedes. And he said, babes, you ever come and can give a better life. And she jumps onto this man's bandwagon and gone about her business, leaving the man behind who took her in, sent her to go to school, help her get a degree, and then all of a sudden he's not good enough for her. That's what Dwayne Bravo and Pollard and all, that's what they did to the West Indies cricket. They always say that the board disrespected them and the board did this and the board did that. My argument has always been, you're never playing for the board. You're playing for the people of the Caribbean. That's what West Indies cricket is about. You're playing for the people. You're not playing for the board. If they were playing for the board, Mikey Holding and Richards, another man would play for the West Indies.
Right.
None of them.
As a point, you would remember this well. Michael Manley had to step in to get Mikey Holding and to come back to play for West Indies cricket because there was no money.
The West Indies board has never been good.
Yeah.
Right? Remember, Frank Worrell.
First black captain. Yeah.
Was the board did not want Frank Worrell to be captain because he was black.
Yeah.
Frank Worrell still went on and played for the West Indies, led the West Indies to a famous victory in Australia, famous tight test, beat England. And they're not, these guys, they missed the point. They're not playing for the board. They're playing for the people, which is one reason why the people stop going to the matches, because it's clear that these guys have no interest in representing the people of the region. I'm not saying that they must deny them the opportunity to go play IPL or wherever it is they
Right.
play. Because look, sports are short. Every career is sport in short. 10 years at max if you're lucky.
Right.
So go earn your money. Earn as much money. But when the West Indies needs you, come and play for the West Indies, because had it not been for the platform of West Indies cricket, them people in IPL would not be seeing you.
Yeah.
So this argument that the board is this and the board is that, brother, if it wasn't for the board, nobody ever see you. Nobody would ever see you. So you're the glass case that the West Indies Cricket Board put you in, that people from IPL and BPL and all the appeals out there,
Big bash,
and see you.
everything, yeah.
That is why you are able to make the millions that you're able to make. Had it not been for the West Indies Cricket Board, or the Cricket West Indies as they're now called, nobody would see you. Nobody would know who you are. You would not have been able to come through the under 17, under 19 programs, under 21 programs, and go into the West Indies team. So the argument about you're not doing it because the West Indies Board disrespects you or don't treat you like, this is another thing. Them say the board, this and the board don't treat them like how the IPL clubs. Does the West Indies Cricket Board have money like some of the people who own the franchise? They don't have the money. So how can they give you the things that you want or think you need when they're not available? Go back to the whole argument, the girlfriend thing, right? The reality is that when you have a situation, you want to make the situation better, but you don't make the situation better by then abandoning the base of where you're coming from. When you have your parents, for example, your parents' sport, and your father used to beat the skin off your back, and them living at a board house, and you sleep on the floor, and you have a sleeping and shift on the bed, because some people get the bed half the night and the other shift sleep on the floor, and then you switch on in the middle of the night. When you get an opportunity to thrive, and you go and you get a chance to get a scholarship or whatever it happens there, you make some money. Do you abandon your parents? You don't. As bad as things were, you don't. That's what these guys do, and that's why people call them mercenaries, because they don't care. And as a result, that's what we're seeing now, because these guys, because the West Indies Cricket Board don't have the resources to have the systems that in place. And I mean, a lot of it also is bad management, and I can't see that.
Yeah.
Because I remember asking at a press conference that they had earlier, when they had last year, I keep saying we're in 2026 now. We were talking about, I asked a question virtually because I was watching it on Zoom and I was able to ask a question. And I said, why is it that you don't have an integrated program from grassroots level right up to the entry to the West Indies team, like Australia does, like New Zealand does? And they said they don't have one. Then how do you expect to continue to yeah. So
individual nations,
so the boards are a waste of time, and what the players also have to take some responsibility of that as well. So
no, I mean I agree. I mean, you and I sing the same from the same song book. I always use this line. I said the cricket is bigger than the cricket, because if you understand West Indies cricket history, they would not be doing this, right? Like that's why everyone needs to get a CLR James beyond the boundary. They need to if they understand what the cricket did for a people, then there would not be none of them who are making the millions and millions of dollars now could not have any chance of playing cricket if it wasn't for the 3Ws, Sobers, all the way up to Clive Lloyd's men, all the way. They would never understand that. They're standing on some giants that they disrespect if they even see. They walk past them if they see them.
Those guys built the foundation. Headley them, and then Clive Lloyd come and them and Viv them build on top of it, Richardson, Corey Walsh. And then these guys now who should have been building for further growth just abandon the people them.
Yeah.
We're not busy. They're always unavailable when it comes to West Indies cricket. Right. I'll never forget the interview that Simon Crosby and I did on Sportsmax with Denzel Simmons, who said that Test cricket too hard. And so at the time, I think the contracts were like $130,000 a year.
Right.
How many people in the Caribbean earn that?
Yeah.
$12,000 a year. How many people in the Caribbean earn that? That means it puts you among the highest paid people in the Caribbean, and you can't play for the people of your country for that. We're not asking. Remember, West Indies don't play 50 tests for the year. Them play like maybe 8, 9
Yeah,
tests a year.
yeah, it's not a lot. Yeah,
Right? So you're getting paid roughly what? Do the math. 18 to 20, you're getting paid $20,000 per test match, and plus your match fee. And you
right.
can't represent your region for that, and you still have the opportunity to go play for the leagues them across the world. No,
Yeah.
boss. I don't
No, I
that
think
argument I don't watch with me.
it doesn't. Yeah, it don't make any sense. And I know that every single pop-up T20, T10 now, everybody just moving from one
Yeah.
thing to the next. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying you don't go IPL, go Big Bash, go to a few of these that work into the regular calendar, but show up for your country, right? And
Yeah.
go county cricket if you. I mean, it's hard to get into those places, and that's a different story. On if we talk about where the Test match cricket is, but then they're never around. They just rather go earn 200,000 here, $500,000, $1 million here, and
and these guys make $2-3 million a year, right?
yeah,
You tell me say you can't, and it's not like they're playing for the West Indies for free.
yeah,
They're getting paid, and they deny themselves or they refuse central contracts because they want to be free to do what they want to do. And the unfortunate thing about it is that cricket West Indies can't sue them because then I was talking to Dr. Bennett about it the other day. They will take it to court and sue, and they can't win because then the argument is that you're denying them an opportunity to earn. So the boards are tied with their hands behind their backs, and the players get all the power and all the say. I think is wrong.
yeah.
So then we know. I mean, I watched the match only today because I was watching the England Sri Lanka match and that match as well. And so I was switching between both. And, Sri Lanka won a really interesting match. The West Indies, I'm like, okay. So they win the match with the series done already. So what's the point?
The thing that I was happy about today, I started to watch it maybe 9:45 or so because I was watching the under-19 match because West Indies under-19 beat South Africa.
And South Africa, yeah.
Very, very good game. I mean, you look at some of those youngsters there, lots of talent. There's some good spin bowling and some kids that Bell in particular, I think he had a 6 for today or 7. I can't remember.
6 for 40.
Yeah, and you look at those kids and you say, it's always hard to transition, but can you get them the same when West Indies win the under-19 World Cup a few years ago? You have to figure out a way to transition them because I keep saying this, and you notice. If you go around all these under-19 countries and you just look at the talent, the variation is small. Like you'll find a couple outstanding ones, but India is not 10 times better than the West Indies kid at 19. But the difference between 19 and 23 is a different type of cricket.
Different thing altogether.
Different.
I mean, look, just a few years ago, South Africa was wallowing near the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
They won the last 2 Test championships. They beat India and they beat Australia. Why? Because they put the things in place to help the kids make that transition.
No, it was just the last one. I think New Zealand won the one before.
Yeah. No, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But anyway,
the World Test Championship, you mean? Yeah,
man.
So it's South Africa this year, and then before it was India lose to New Zealand.
Was it New Zealand or was it South Africa? You sure?
In Lords, yeah. I watched it. Yeah. We can check for sure because I don't want to submit.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm not disputing. I'm just saying because I remember South Africa beating. I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing it up. Okay, but
they beat. They won Australia. The last one they beat Australia. But the one before was India losing to New Zealand.
Yeah. So look at what those countries are being able to do in terms of transitioning their talent. For example, look at the under-19 team where Hetmyer was captain. All of those guys don't play T20 cricket and they don't play Test cricket. All right? And Hetmyer for me is more bark than bite because he makes runs every 50 matches.
And he doesn't always show up for West Indies cricket. He's never always available.
No, I mean, he played in the first 2 matches. He made a 40-something. Yes, the second match. He still lost. But the thing about it is that these guys, they don't care. They don't care about the history of they don't care about the legacy that you're trying to continue. So I basically watch it now out of habit because you watch cricket and cricket that's what you follow. But if it was down to them alone, I don't watch the sport because they don't care. And if they don't care, why should I care?
Yeah, and then the quality is like not what you want. Obviously, the
Yeah.
best cricket I
And
saw this
so,
year was like Ashes. I watched Ashes, and I mean it's not the greatest Ashes series, the last one, but the
I
competition is
mean,
good, and you just had
England
to
were
watch
lambs.
cricket elsewhere to see good cricket all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
England were
So yeah,
lambs to the
in
slaughter last
1921
Ashes.
it was India lost to New Zealand, then India lost to Australia in the next cycle, and then South Africa beat Australia in
Africa.
this in the
Yeah.
latest cycle. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so but I watched the 90s interesting because they have some talent. The guy made
Yeah.
114 today.
Yeah, that guy
So
was good. And Laws, I like the Laws kid too. I think he might be special.
yeah,
Pollard looks good.
and,
He's a huge dude. I think he would be
yeah,
good, you know. Yeah.
yeah. He
But you
might
have
sneak
to
up on a
get
glass
them,
of water.
huh? You have to get them to a
No,
point
don't.
uh, where you take them and get them into first class cricket where it's competitive, right? So you
Yeah,
look at the Australians, Shield cricket. You go to England, there's county cricket. India, their championship cricket is really good too. West Indies first class cricket is not long enough because we can't afford it. It's hard to travel in the Caribbean, and it's
and it's
just
not
not
first class
competitive
cricket.
enough.
It's just not
You
first
said
class
it.
cricket.
You said it. Yeah,
The
yeah. But it's true. I mean,
the pitches are terrible.
yeah,
The standard of play is horrible. I don't.
yeah.
I mean, the regional matches I don't watch them anymore because it's a joke.
Yeah, I
I mean,
try to watch them. It's hard to watch. Yeah.
having watched cricket back in the 70s through the 80s into the 90s, even early
Different.
2000s, but
Yeah.
now it's talk to
No, the
cheese.
problem I have with West Indies cricket beyond that is that we have a generation of people who have never seen a world class West Indies team. Not
Yep.
and so for them, when you talk to them, they don't even get it, right? Like they've never seen anything. They've never seen Lara. They've never seen Viv, Ambrose,
Never seen
Walsh, and
Greenwich.
Marshall, Big
Yep.
Bird. Nobody. They don't understand it. It's not, and then they're moving further and further away from people who can even say, the West Indies were good. Everybody you talk to about cricket, like West Indies is like the worst cricket team ever. And I'm like, there's a period we never lost a test match. It's like 17 years. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
But they don't understand that. Yeah.
You know that this period that the West Indies is going through. I mean, the West Indies, every team goes through dips,
Right.
Hills and valleys, right? This is the longest the West Indies has ever been down.
Yeah.
35 years.
Absolutely.
Since we lost that title to, we lost in '95 to Australia.
To Australia, yeah.
Yeah, and from that point until now, we've never gone back up. We've gradually gone down to the point now where not even some of the affiliate teams. I mean, Afghanistan owns us now.
Yeah.
In T20 and one day cricket, we can't beat Afghanistan number. Period.
We lost to what? Nepal in T20. Was it Nepal?
Yeah, we lose to Nepal
last year.
Nepal. We lose to Nepal. Brother, we can pick up a team. I'm a brother who used to play for Cars and beat the West Indies team. I swear to God.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they haven't named the team yet. I guess I don't know if they've named the squad yet today after this thing, but some of these guys are fighting for a place into the World T20 World Cup, and I'm not quite sure if any of them are deserving of it. So we'll see.
Oh, like for example, Brandon King made 40 something and made 50 the last match. But Brandon King used to bat really well. He used to bat smart. And all of a sudden, everything for him is him try to hit it for four. That's not how you play cricket. The balls that you can't hit before, you drop them in space and take a single. You rotate the strike because 6 singles is 6 runs and over. And in those 6 balls, you might get a couple of wides, or you might be able to hit a couple of 4s or a 6, or 4 or a 6. And then you take a single for the rest of the way.
on the bowling team.
Yeah, because the continued rotation makes it harder for the bowler to find a consistent line. Also, as I said, you can't either score 8 or 10 runs and over by not taking any unnecessary risks. If you listen to how Ricky Ponting talks about cricket, is low risk shots for the highest yield and high risk shots for the lowest yield. They don't make those shots. You leave those shots out of your repertoire altogether. You take a single, you cut on the pitch and push the ball into a gap, you take a single, a run 2 if you can run 2. And then if it comes, you hit a 4. But these guys, everything Like the match yesterday.
Oh,
Everybody comes to the crease. I try for a big shot and get caught. Brother, try something different. But I don't know.
I mean, West Indies is the worst team in T20 in terms of strike rotation. The same in every format of the cricket, I think. We're the worst on that. So they don't
Can't get the
rotate.
ball off of the square.
Yeah, they do a lot of dot balls. And T20 has changed. Everybody gain on us because we had a lot of power. Everybody can hit big now. There's not a team in world cricket that can hit big. And if they're hitting big and rotating the strike, you're going to be in problems. World Cup is in India and Sri Lanka. We don't even have a decent spinner outside of. I don't think the spinners would be,
Moti is not a spinner anymore. Moti is a slow bowler.
Yeah.
The first one day, the first T20 match against you realize they lost 2 wickets early.
Yeah.
And the third wicket pair came to the team, drop the ball, and let's take a single. Drop the ball.
Oh yeah, you mean they were 19 for 2. Afghanistan, you mean?
Yeah. And then they started, once they got their iron, they started to hit, and they didn't hit like wildly. They hit genuine cricket shots. Straight back over the bowler head, over mid wicket when the ball is short enough, cut the ball through, covered, and all the balls are on the ground except for the ones that clear the boundary. And then our bowlers kept feeding them. It's like, brother, if the ball short, I don't pull it easily through mid wicket, the pace, the ball not come on the pitch fast enough. You can't keep bowling it short because he has time.
Right.
Look, if you can hit a shot in front of square, it means you have enough time to play the ball. Don't bowl it back because you're going to hit the same place again. But what them do? Come up and bowl the same delivery again because if they make a mistake one time, what? You're going to make a mistake next time? No. Yeah. So try something new. Change the length. Maybe back of a length. Maybe a little bit fuller depending on the pitch. They're not thinking that there's no clear strategy to the bowling. Yeah. There's no clear strategy to the batting. And the fielding has gotten horrible. The first man dropped 3 catches in like 8 balls.
Yeah.
Yes, man, them crazy, man. Stop.
No, I mean, they take too long to adapt to conditions as well, and not so that's part of the thinking too. But the adaptation to the conditions is problematic.
There's no thinking going on at all. They don't think. They can't think on their feet. They can't strategize. They can't adapt to anything. If somebody do something different, I remember back when Mikey Holden was a bowl. Just the club guys set a field, and you know that they're going to get a wicket because there's a specific strategy. David Hooks used to come and recruit, and everything he tried pull over square leg. And when I put 2 man on the square leg, one on backward square, one on the square leg boundary, a little bit straighter. Girl gonna come and bowl a short one and then pull it. Old card. Bye-bye. David Goh used to have the Gillen problems, and Martin Crowe used to get them problems. But other than that, I mean, Jeffrey Walcott just wouldn't play a shot, so you couldn't get them out. Right. But the reality is that they had a plan for everybody. These guys are not bowling with any plan. They just have both. They just go up and leg on the ball. I remember, playing when I was going to cast. I remember playing a match, and this guy, him love cut, him couldn't cut, and him love cut. And I bowled 2 outside the half stump, and him cut and missed because one of them was a slow ball, and he missed. He missed the first one, and he missed the slow one. And the last one, we just turned the ball. Same line, cut back in, try cut, and he cut him off stop. And then by scratching it, I wonder how. Because you have to think, you have to think the things through. If you just run up and bowling, you're not going to get anybody. If you have a decent batsman, you're not going to get him wicket because he knows what you're doing. And he knows you're going to be wide at the half stump and you're going to wide at the leg stump. He'll flick you off and pad for 4, or lean back or go across him off stop and cut you. Or lick you over, extra cover, depending on how full the ball is. So, these guys they're not thinkers. And when you hear them in post-match commentary, it is clear that they're not thinkers.
Right.
Them just play by instinct, and it's not good enough.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's problematic. I don't have high hopes for them even coming out of the group. I was saying this to some people the other day, the only thing that suggests that they could come out of that group to me is because Bangladesh is in a whole kind of political problem with India trying to change. Well, they can't change the venue anymore, but
the ICC said they're going to replace them.
Huh?
The ICC said if Bangladesh doesn't show up, they're going to replace them with somebody else.
So that's the only thing to me that suggests that the West Indies could probably come out of that group. Otherwise, I think it's probably an early T20. I could be wrong. I mean, a lot of people want nostalgia. They think back to winning in India, winning in in Sri Lanka, but the rest of the world is too good for us, you know.
As
And
Carney said 2 days ago, nostalgia is that strategy.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, but
All right,
yeah,
Lynn, we're gonna call it. It's been an hour
yeah.
and 30 minutes. We'll be back soon, obviously, if we can make it happen. Lots of track and field this weekend. New Balance. I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping.
Yeah, we can probably talk about New Balance next week. Yeah.
Yeah, we could try to do some next week. Noah Lyles up against Jeremy Richards in the 300 meters. That should be a cracker.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. He looks a little bit heavy to
there's-
me. I didn't even text you about this, but when I saw him
Oh,
last
no?
week, yeah, he looked a little
he's
bit
bigger.
not heavy, but bigger in terms of muscle
Yeah,
structure.
man, he's been lifting heavy. So a year lifting really heavy. I'm going for a lot of power because I think he realized that he needed a little bit more power to try to stay with oblique and some other people this year.
Hopefully they don't overpower trying to run down those guys, but
yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be interesting because what's his name again? God. There's another 400 guy in the race as well.
Vernon is in it too.
Vernon,
yeah, he's in that race. I think.
Yeah, Vernon
Norwood, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Jerry and Noah. And I think, look, Noah's 31.87 or so ago, and Jerry is 32.10. I think it's going to be very interesting because I think Jeremy is in really good shape.
Yeah. Especially coming after last year too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Where he's run 43 back-to-back seasons now. So
yeah,
he's in great shape. So probably his 300 is even better too because I'm sure that 300 split in Tokyo last year was pretty.
Yeah.
I didn't. 43.74 run, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, something. Yeah. So
that's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to.
I think he's favorites for me, but we'll see. Noah had a run out last week, so he might be in good shape. But I mean, at least stretch the legs. And he probably does want to lose on home soil, but it should be good. The hurdles should be good too. I think Cordell Tinch is there, Daniel Roberts, I believe. Cunningham too, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that kid from Australia there, Cameron Myers over the 3,000.
Yeah.
He just ran a fast mile the other day. So yeah.
I think it's gonna be a good meet. And I think I had heard earlier that Julian Alvarez was supposed to run the 60, but apparently I haven't seen anything that suggests that she is though. Maybe
I think when I checked the list, she wasn't on it. I think it was I'd have to look at it again. I don't know where that is now. But Brianna is there though, I think, but not I don't think she's there. I think it's Dina, Barnes, Luckenkemper, Liston, Mowat, and Destiny Smith Barnett. So unless they change her, so yeah.
Well,
there's a women's 150.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good meet. I'm actually excited about seeing it.
Yeah, it's on Saturday, I think 2:30 to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is I think is the same time in Jamaica right now, right? So yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool.
All
right, so we'll probably catch up on that. Thanks everybody for coming through and for supporting. Don't forget to subscribe to Leighton's channel and to subscribe to mine if you haven't as well. And we appreciate you all. And if we didn't get to some of your comments, that's how it goes sometimes. We'll get them the next time.
Yeah, but go take a look at that bobsled. Go take a look at that interview about the bobsled team. I think you'll find it very interesting.
No, it's good. It's good. I started to listen to it. I'm gonna finish listening to it too. Yeah. And obviously the Winter Olympics is coming up, so Jamaica will be there.
Let me just respond to African before we go. The coaching matters. Serena Cole may not show much improvement. Yeah, I agree. Because she's gonna have to get stronger. She's gonna have to lose some weight, and that might not happen very quickly. And plus, she's adapting to a new program. She's no longer at MVP anyway. She's gone over to our boyfriend club name again.
Forgot what it's called.
O'Keefe Smith's club. That's where she is now. So she needs to lose. She needs to lose at least 10, 15 pounds. She needs to be a lot slimmer. So I think it's going to be a year when she's adapting to a new program and adapting to a new body weight, and clearly there's a need for her to get stronger as well. Yeah.
All right.
But then, guys, have a good night.
Yeah. On that note, we'll sign off. I'll see you next time, Leighton. We'll do something soon. All right.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Right,
take it easy.